Oh boy, I like this. Today we're talking about a guy that we have had a pretty historied documentation of on this YouTube channel in the past, especially during 2020. Back in the 2020 NHL Entry Draft, there were a number of OHL, CHL studs that were available to be selected. Alexis Lafreniere was the absolute superstar out of the queue. Quinton Byfield was the unicorn in the OHL. You had Jamie Drysdale and Jack Quinn doing some pretty good work in the O, not to mention Marco Rossi, who led the entire CHL in points as a draft eligible. Now, Marco Rossi is a Vancouver Canuck, but what about the guy taken after him in the 10th overall spot in 2020? Ladies and gentlemen, today we are talking about Cole Perfetti, a guy who is 24 years old in the Winnipeg Jets organization, was a 10th overall pick back in 2020, and is a player who is down on his luck. He had 50 points in 82 games last season. This season, he is on pace for 29 points over 68 games. He's only gotten 18 points in 42 at the time of recording this audio. Things have not gone all too well for neither the Winnipeg Jets nor Cole Perfetti. And Harman Dale went out there and had a piece on Schaefer and Price the other day suggesting that Cole Perfetti could be an opportunity to buy low on a slick, creative winger with good play-driving numbers who is in the right age range to fit the Canucks' long-term core. You know we had to go out there and talk about it, baby. Cole Perfetti is a guy that I remember watching as a draft eligible as a super smart wizard with the puck. I think they called him, what was it, the genius or the wizard? There was some sort of a nickname for him. It wasn't the professor. That was Igor Larionov. But Cole Perfetti, not only was he smart on the ice, he also was a smart dude in general. He probably still is, but I do remember that Cole Perfetti ended up getting, I think it was like the Scholastic Award for the OHL or the CHL, whatever it was. Let's go out there and Google that real quick. Ah, yes, that's exactly what it was. Cole Perfetti ended up winning the CHL Scholastic Player of the Year award. He had a 93 average percentage in his grade 12 year in high school, which was absolutely outstanding for a guy that was also playing OHL hockey while that was all going on. He was drafted 2020, had 111 points in 61 games, and was seen by many as a potential 70-plus point NHL forward. A super smart, versatile, skilled guy with very strong work ethic and just an overall maturity to his game. As we had mentioned, though, things haven't really been going all too well for him in Winnipeg this season, which is why Harman Dale went out there and labeled him as a potential Canucks target. Take a look at what this clip goes out there and talks about. Cole Perfetti is in an interesting spot where he's 24 years old. He was a top pick in 2020, and he's having an underwhelming year. I wonder if this is kind of the opportunity where it's not as if the Jets are going to be willing to let him go for nothing because he's still a valuable middle six piece, but I think you could have an opportunity to maybe buy low on a player who, first of all, had a production dip, a situation where he has been snake-bitten, where he has had some bad luck. He's shooting less than 5% The two-way play driving numbers are strong, and even when Dale's watched the Jets play, it just feels like a year where he has played and been more dangerous, and the production would indicate he's a slick, creative, playmaking winger. But also, he is a guy whose age aligns with the Vancouver Canucks core of the future. Cole Perfetti is 24 years old. He is just a few months younger than Marco Rossi, whom the Vancouver Canucks already acquired because they thought he would be a pretty good fit for them long term. The reason Rossi, despite the fact that he led the OHL in point production in that 2019-20 season, the reason he ended up going 9th overall is straight up because he was too small. A lot of folks were thinking, hey, wait a minute, he was able to score all these gosh darn points in the CHL, 120 points in 56 games, but he's only 5'9", whatever he was at the time of the draft. Add on to the fact that Marco Rossi literally almost died after getting drafted because of complications with his health, and now that he's in the NHL once more, It's obviously a comeback story for the ages, and we are yet to seeing the best of what Marco Rossi could be at the NHL level, and I say that fully knowing that he had 60 points in 82 games last year. Cole Perfetti is a guy that I think could follow a very similar trajectory, maybe with a lower ceiling. I don't think that Cole Perfetti is going to outscore Marco Rossi in a season's worth of NHL play anytime soon, but if he can be maybe a 1B or a 1C underneath Rossi's 70, 80 point caliber production, if he's able to grow into that sort of a player mold, then Cole Perfetti, I do think, can be right on the coattails there, and their smarts together can complement each other very well. If Winnipeg is sincere about these reports that apparently Cole Perfetti could be on the move, there could be some sort of a Perfetti for right idea that was tossed out there. Yeah, right. Shane Wright from the Seattle Kraken. That's already a video topic that we went out there and explored a few days ago, actually. It was before the Olympics, so it was a while ago. Here we go. Rejected trade Cole Perfetti for Shane Wright over there. If it is true that Winnipeg could be interested in moving Cole Perfetti for the right pieces, then I wonder if Vancouver has the necessary assets to make that work. If the Vancouver Canucks can shell out maybe, I don't know, a roster-ready player, somebody that can help Winnipeg compete in the now. Maybe not like the now, this season now, but maybe next season and beyond, since Winnipeg is one of the worst teams in the National Hockey League. Might I interest you in a Brock Besser? Okay. Is that really going to get it done? I'm not really too sure, but maybe it's Brock Besser and a second-round pick or whatever for Cole Perfetti. Maybe that tickles Winnipeg's fancy enough for it to go through. We already know that they were interested in getting Shane Wright, but that trade didn't end up manifesting because the Kraken said no. But I'm here with Harmondale, thinking about Cole Perfetti as a potential Vancouver Canucks trade target. As he mentions, the Winnipeg Jets are not just going to give him up. It's going to take an offer that'll wow Kevin Cheveldayoff, and with the club hoping to keep their current core together for a playoff push, perhaps they might be interested in some more forward help, like Connor Garland or even Jake DeBrusk. I'll just say this right here. If you can get Cole Perfetti in a trade for Jake DeBrusk, you take it and you run with it. Same with Connor Garland. Same with Brock Besser. Heck, Besser, I think, has probably the lowest value out of those three, considering his contract is like the worst one there, and he is the slowest by far. But Cole Perfetti is a pretty big prize here, and if it does take a Connor Garland in a second or whatever to get it done, I honestly bite. I say that this is a guy that's worth taking that chance on, even though I understand you can say, hey, you should trade Garland away for a first, get some draft picks in the future for this team. Don't take a guy who's already 24. Don't try to fast-track this rebuild. Lego, you're always talking about Vancouver taking chances on first-round picks that don't work out. You always talk about Bronstrom, Daniel Sprong, Emerson Edom. These guys that are just taken on because they're reclamation projects like Vitaly Kravtsov and they don't work out. But I'm thinking about it like this. Cole Perfetti, 50 points last year. What is the difference between Cole Perfetti and Marco Rossi aside from just the 10 points? These guys are in similar situations that we had seen from last year to this year, and they have NHL experience that has been proven. Vitaly Kravtsov was never an NHL guy that was worth taking a chance on unless you looked at that KHL production and his potential playoff production too. Perfetti and Rossi are and were proven, so I'm a lot more comfortable making a deal for these guys, even though they are 24 years old, rather than a Vitaly Kravtsov-like reclamation project who has done nothing at the NHL level. That's kind of my perspective on it. You can disagree in the comment section below. Overall, though, Cole Perfetti, I think, is a valuable Vancouver Canucks thought that they should probably try to explore if it's available to them. You can let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.